All right, peace and much love. Minister Zenaro here with message from the Minister number 7. Message from the Minister 6. I was driving cross country from Los Angeles to Florida. And for those of you who don't live in the United States of America, that's all the way from the West Coast to the East Coast, down in the southern part of the country. So as I'm driving, I start thinking about different things. Our last message, we talked about blessings and how our blessings come through us. They don't come to us. And what that means to live with the burden of a blessing, how to lift that burden up and eventually walk in that blessing, however you've been blessed in life. Today I want to talk about temptation and also how when we make mistakes or we fall or we sin, that we get back up, dust ourselves off, and keep on our path, keep walking, and learn to forgive ourselves, learn to forgive others. Sometimes we might fall down because somebody knocked us down. Sometimes we might get bumped because a couple people bump into us. Sometimes we might bump into a couple people. Sometimes we might knock somebody down deliberately or on accident. I don't really believe in accidents. There's always a reason for things. But, hey, sometimes we do things that we're unaware of in our ignorance or in consciousness, and we need to rectify those, or we need to we need to make those right again in our lives. And so I got a few examples from the gospel of hip hop just to kind of talk about the nature of temptation, the nature and really how to overcome that temptation and how to transmute that temptation or how to work that temptation to your advantage. So once again, you can turn a temptation into a blessing if it works to your advantage. And then that blessing, once again, will come through you, not to you. The temptation might come to you, but the blessing from the temptation, the blessing from the temptation can come through you. And what does that mean? Well, we like to teach this at the Temple of Hip Hop, that wisdom, especially us as hip hoppers, we learn by making mistakes. This is how we gain wisdom. I can speak for myself. Any wisdom that I've been fortunate enough to gain through life is always because of mistakes that I've made, or from something that somebody else has taught me from their mistakes. And I've taken that and said, you know what? Instead of me making that mistake that you made, let me learn from your mistake and not make it in my own life. And then, hopefully, as the mistakes that I've made or can pass along any wisdom, helps you, avoid certain obstacles, avoid bumping your head on that beam back there, or avoid stubbing your toe on that bookshelf over there. Whatever it is that we go through in life, just know that if you can transmute the situation, negative to a positive, it was what some people would say, but when you really understand like the yin and yang principles of negative and positive and what that means, you really need both these forces working with each other. That's just the nature. Don't look at yin and yang as good versus evil. Negative is evil and positive is good. Because for a battery to run, you have a positive charge, and then you have the negative circuit that the charge runs through. So you need to have a negative and a positive for energy to work. So don't get caught up in that negative is evil. I think what they call negative thinking, or they call negative words or negative situations, are situations that haven't been approached with the truth or the light. Or maybe there's situations that person shouldn't be in, or there's situations that person should learn from. But if you learn from him, then once again, you turn that into what's called the positive. So if something negative's happening in life, there's always something positive there happening too. Like I said, don't get trapped into the thinking of Western society that there is evil versus good, negative versus positive. Yes, I do believe that there is such thing as evil, which really is love that's been distorted through fear. And there's also people that don't have souls, so they do these heinous acts because they're soulless. So what else would you expect from them? Really, this message is about for those of us with a soul, those of us who want to impact our world in a meaningful way, meaning that we would like to see love victorious, that we would like to see truth, that we would like to see justice, that we would like to see forgiveness, that we would like to see gratefulness, gratitude, thankfulness, and ultimately we would like to see an ease of human suffering. I don't know what Great Spirit's ultimate vision is for humanity. I wouldn't assume to know what God, the creator of all that is, has in store for us, because my perception is limited, and as vast as our perceptions can be as divine or universal beings or spiritual beings, as vast as that can be, imagine that God is thinking through all of us just watching this video right now, that God is thinking through all of humanity at the same time. That's a vast amount of knowledge to have. And this is where faith comes in. The faith that that being, the faith that there's someone or something it that is greater than us, that we call God. But any name can really falter, because when you're breathing air, we call it air. That's what English gave us. But are we breathing God in? Are we breathing our consciousness in and out? Is that just a part of God? These are just some good questions I like to ask throughout the day as I explore the vastness of what God is and what love is, and all these divine beings that we've been sent. We've been sent prophets, we've been sent a Messiah, we've been sent teachers, we've been sent judges, and not the judges in America, but just back in the days, that's how the Israelites, there would be a judge to judge between right acts and wrong acts. And so instead of talking about good and evil, negative and positive, we could talk about right and wrong. And this is where, like, negative and positive, I think people get confused. They're like, negative is wrong, positive is right. But no, they're both right, and they can both be wrong. Some people do something that they feel very positive about. Oh, I've been charged to do this. Let me do this. I'm going to open this porthole for the whole world, for all these loving beings to come through. And they might think that's something positive, but they don't know that these loving beings maybe have deceived them or something like that. So they're opening these portals, and that these other beings can come through and start fucking with humanity. So be very mindful of what you think is positive or negative, or what is right and wrong. Really study the masters. This is why we have the Tao Te Ching. This is why we have the Bhagavad Gita, the Bible. This is why we have these certain holy books and scriptures. They're to study and learn from these masters of thought that have stood the test of time. If they didn't have anything of value, they would not have stood the test of time. So certain books, certain holy scriptures that have stood the test of time, those are good to study, those are good to listen to. But ultimately, we really want to get to where we can hear God ourselves directly. That would be what would be the awakened Christ within, being able to hear the voice of God, being able to speak with the voice of God. And not that you're God, but as children of God, we're smaller versions of God. We're little versions of God. We're younger versions. We're whatever God created us to be. As children of God, that makes us in oneness with God, as God. So, not that we're the creator and people's egos get in the way and be like, yo, I'm God of this world, what? And they become like the Agent Smith, turn into me, I'm God. You know, that's not what it's about. Real truth and real God will humble you, will blow your mind away, and you'll actually tune into the sadness and the suffering that's happening in the world through your compassion. And that's what I want to get through to now, is just how to protect ourselves from the suffering of the world and the suffering of others, but really to protect ourselves so we're not suffering with that we can help heal the suffering, help ease the suffering, as opposed to becoming the suffering. And as you know, when you go throughout life, a lot of temptations come to you. You might be having a great meditation or prayer in the morning. You go out, you go to work the next day. You're like at work, you're like, wow, I feel great. You're driving to work, the music's right. I'm feeling so good about myself. So good, so good, so good. Thank you, God, for life. And you're like, you get into work. Yo, peace, my man, what's good? Peace, sister, what's up? And you know, you're walking around putting that light out, and somebody's over there like, what the fuck is his problem? Man, fuck that shit. Man, I had a shitty weekend this weekend. You know, and sometimes what you can do in that situation is you're shining your light. You're kind of showing off. You're kind of letting everybody see, like, yo, my life is so good, and their life ain't good. So it's better as somebody on a spiritual path, or somebody wants to help heal those situations, it's better to be more receptive to maybe what that person's going through, or just remain in darkened and not tune yourself into their hate. And you know, for a compassionate being, you always want to help somebody out. So it's like you might shine your light a little bit and be like, yo, man, my weekend was great. And homeboy's like, man, my weekend sucked. My girl did this, my dog did this, and my kids did this, and my bills are this, and it's all going, And you might even have those same situations in your life. Things might not be going right. So you need to take that time and not take on what that person's projecting onto you. If all of a sudden you're like, I feel good, and he's like, I feel like shit, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, you feel like shit? Well, maybe I should feel like shit too. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, man, bills suck. And we start shrinking to match that other person's frequency or vibration that they're putting out. We start shrinking to ourselves. Oh, let me become their suffering. Let me suffer with them. This is what God would do. This is what Christ would do. This is what Buddha would do. I will suffer with you. I don't believe that that's what any master in teaching has ever asked of us. I don't believe that that's what God or Great Spirit is asking from us. But I also don't believe that God and Great Spirit is asking us to be like, I'm so happy, I'm so good, and somebody's suffering over there, and we're like, stay away from me, I'm so happy and so good, I'm so happy and so good, pretending that we're happy and we're good. How can you be happy and good inside if somebody else is suffering? You can have some joy, we can have some certain feeling of faith and peace and prosperity, but when somebody else is suffering around us, we don't want to take that on, but we do actually want to help that out. But don't become it. Some people will they're called energy vampires or drainbows or succubus, or there's all kind of demons, devils. There's all kind of names that we can give these people that come into our lives, or these situations that can come into our lives that try and take our light down, try and bring us to a lower vibration, try and bring us down to their level. It's very important not to join them on that path, and it's also very important that if you give a word or you give something, you help them out, that if they receive that, then you know what to do with that. You can give more light, or they can learn the lesson and go on, or you can give them a book, or you can give them a YouTube video or something, something to watch or something inspiring, and then just move about your day. You don't have to save that person. You don't have to be the savior of the world. According to the Bible, Jesus already came and saved the world. So nobody's being asked to save the world right now, but you are being asked to save your community, save your family, save yourself. Save your temple, so save your family, save your friends, save people you don't know. You may be asked to be helping save this person, or you might just be, another piece that helps them find salvation, ultimately through God. That's the only way anybody's going to be saved, is through God. So you want to help somebody, but not become what they're doing. You want to assist somebody, but not go down and sink down to their level. So how do we do this? Well, in the gospel of hip-hop, we teach what's called endarkenment, and that's when you retain a certain level of light, you retain a certain level of spiritual insight, or something that you can say to somebody. They're like, oh man, my fucking wife, oh, she did this to me, and I feel like killing her, or I feel like, I'm gonna leave, and you may not know what that situation is for that person, so you don't want to go down through their level, but you also want to give them some fake stuff and be like, oh no, it's all good, man, just think good thoughts, and so you can open your heart up a little bit and perform listen and be like, yo, really, what happened? Oh man, I came home and like she got home late from work, and she drove into the garage and she scratched my truck with her car. And you'd be like, oh, that sucks. But like, really? Like, was she working all day? You might be able to give some insight into what her day may have been like, and be like, I think you're above getting mad at her for that. I actually think you're above being kind of petty like that. So really, is that really the direction you want to go in? And that person can be like, yeah, fuck her. And you can be like, all right, cool, man. I gave my word. I let you know that, maybe it wasn't about that you can be above that. You didn't want to listen. Hey, it's all good, man. I totally understand. Do you. I'm going to go do me. Or that person might be like, oh, yeah, no, I've just been having a hard week. She's been having a hard week. Our bills are piling up. I don't know what to do. Oh, word. Yeah, man, I can feel you, man. I know what it's like when my bills pile up. But you know what? There's going to be bills there for the rest of our lives. Until we have Hip Hop City established, there's going to be bills there for the rest of our, at least for, for while we're here in this colonized state, whatever country you're living in that's not free. Here in the United States, yeah, you're going to live here in the United States. There's going to be bills attached to that. So really, it's about finding a way to see your life and see above the bills, see above the stresses, see above the anxiety, see above the fears, and live above those things. And knowing that they're there, you have to interact with them. You have to make decisions. You have to plan for your future. You have to have, most people have to have some kind of money or some kind of assistance to pay the bills and take care of their food situation, their car payments, their phone payments, or whatever it is. So we can all understand to some degree that there is stress in life, and that these are things that we're not able to, well, most of us aren't able to avoid right now. As we grow spiritually, we can actually avoid, because with an infinite God, with infinite possibilities, we can create an entire society that doesn't need money. Like, we can do that. We actually have the knowledge and the abilities to do that right now. Think about that for a minute. We actually have the knowledge, the abilities, and the resources right now to make what we would consider an Eden or some kind of a paradise. Not that there won't be struggle there, not that there won't be some kind of suffering, not that we're not going to learn life lessons, but also, you know, we've seen all this recent shootings. Now we're here in Florida. We just came. We didn't plan on this or anything, but we're here in Florida after this very tragic situation is hit. And there's, you know, all this kind of information coming about gun control. No, they won't take my guns, this, that, and the third. Now, I don't take these sides of the issue because that's what the oppressor is giving us. They're saying you're either with gun control or you're against gun control. You're either with us or you're against us. They're the ones giving you the choice. I don't exist in the world of the choices that they give me. Yes, I'm aware that they affect me. I'm aware that I'm going to walk out right now and I need a driver's license and car insurance to drive my car. And if my car payment doesn't get paid, they're going to repossess my car. I don't give a fuck. Really, I don't give a fuck. But by not giving a fuck, I can also say, well, wait a minute, these are some responsibilities that I've taken on. Let me take responsibility for myself and get these things paid or get these things taken care of. Or, you know, God will take care of them as well. As we walk with God, we learn that God will take care of the situations that we have. But my point being is I'm not going to join the sides of the mainstream narrative. Is this good? Is this bad? Is this what side you're on, or are you on this side? Are you a liberal or are you a Democrat? Are you with this guy or are you with her? That's that division. That's the division that's in the United States of America and most of the world. And, you know, as you know, a house divided cannot stand. So what does that mean for hip hop? Is America could be this person who's angry over here, and hip-hopia, America's over here angry, frustrated at all these bills, and hip-hopia is over here. It's a consciousness. It's a way that we're looking at things. It's like, wait a minute. I'm aware that this angry America is over here, but I've got this peace of mind over here. I can sit over here in stillness and silence. I don't have to react to that guy. I can give my peace to that guy. I can be peace. I can be love. I can transfer even a little bit of loving energy so it doesn't deplete me, or I can give that person some kind of help or assistance. But ultimately, this is what's most important. Hip-hopia is what's most important. The inner city is what's most important. You are what's most important. And so as these things start coming throughout you through the day, I'm just giving you an example of somebody grumpy at work. Sometimes there's somebody might come up at you screaming. They might be hating on you. They might be typing you fucking things that like things that you wouldn't even realize. Like I can't believe the things that people have sent me who don't know me on Facebook just because they think that they have some kind of way to like, okay, I know Zenaru because I saw him on Facebook, so therefore I can judge him and make an assumption about him based on just a few lines. That's ridiculous. Only suckers play that game. And I knew the suckers was coming as soon as I put out my last video because they get jealous. And that's what I want to get to today. It's other people's jealousies and envies. When you start shining your light, they're going to come at you. And this is how you combat that. So I'm going to go to the gospel of hip hop and then I'll add my own commentary on that. So consider this. This is from Endarkenment, page 366 in the gospel of hip hop if you have it. Page 366, paragraph 51. Consider this. Heaven is not where you are going. Heaven is where you came from. Nirvana is not just a state of awareness to attain. It is the very state of awareness you have forgotten. The gospel of hip-hop should not be the only authentic hip-hop lifestyle. It is simply the way that God has instructed us to come at this time. The world of nature, with its system of prey and predators, is a projection of spiritual reality. Just as the deer is hunted by the lion, human beings are hunted by devils. Not half man, half animal characters, but in fact jealousies, greeds, hatreds, fears, temptations, etc. In the realm of spirit, these predators are real. They eat and eventually deplete one's life force. We will become aware of our true reality and be better equipped to protect ourselves when we understand that we are part of a spiritual food chain system, just as the deer is part of a natural food chain system. All day and night we are giving and receiving the conscious breath of life. But spiritual beasts, devils, seek to deplete our life force consciousness for their own nourishment. Randomly, these packs of predators seek our life force to sustain themselves. Jealousies, greeds, hatreds, lusts, fear, etc. are like real beasts that have no life unto themselves, so they seek the life force emanating from us to survive. Okay, so it gets into that the life force in the spirit realm, we let off this mist, we let off this frequency, we let off this substance that these jealousies, these energies want to feed off of. And so this is what we're teaching as devils and demons. And what these aren't animal creatures with big horns with pitchforks and things coming at us. These are things like jealousies, greeds, hatreds, lust, fears, etc. When these things come to us, there's a practical way for us to deal with them. And usually what I've learned is that the best way is to be still. Be still when the tempting moment is happening. Somebody might be like, your boss might be chewing you out. And you don't have to let any of that in. You can still defend yourself, but don't take it internal. Don't take that poison that they're sending you inside yourself. Remain calm. Allow that person to hit you with that. I forgive you. I forgive you. Don't say it out loud even. You may even say it out loud. You might look at the person and be like, boss, I forgive you. Be like, what? What do you mean you forgive me? You. Or they might be like, whoa, I'm sorry. Whoa, you just shook me, you know. You might do that to somebody sometime, or you might just think in your head, I forgive you, and just remain in that peaceful state. You're allowing their words, but you just got like this shield up. They're going around you. You can even hear what they're saying. You can even be processing it, but you don't take that on to yourself. This is how you're victorious. That's endarkenment. That's a very practical endarkenment. There's much more to endarkenment than that, and it's going to keep getting deeper and deeper and deeper as we overstand it. But for a practical way, most of us are going throughout our days and we're driving and we, you know, we may be merged too soon and somebody's in our blind spot and they're honking at us, beep, 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 you know, and they're mad, and you might just be like, my bad, instead of taking it on. Or you might just be like, all right, peace, I'm sorry, I apologize. Somebody might cut you off, and instead of you beep, 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 just yell out, I forgive you, bro, peace, I forgive you. It feels good to say I forgive you to somebody, or say it out loud. Even if you're by yourself, you know, I forgive you to somebody, you know, somebody hurt you. I forgive you, say their name. You know, I forgive you. These are the principles, you know, the things like the divine performance. These are the things that help protect us from those unwanted attacks that come on us throughout the day. You're the light, and the darkness wants to feed off of the light. The darkness is attracted to the light. These devils, these demons, and sometimes, often, it's not the person. The person is not the devil. The person has some kind of, you know, sickness in them, some kind of devil or demon within them, and they may be acting on behalf of that lust or that revenge or that hatred or that jealousy. So if a person is hating on you, they might just have this devil of hatred that they picked up randomly or for somebody else, or even generated within themselves. They may have done that to themselves, or however they got that devil in them. They want you to have that devil. That devil wants to feed off of your energy and latch onto you. So the best way to do that is remain within your circle, remain within, like, you know, I picture like this. I want to call it a shield, but it's not a bubble of light. It's just like it's if you look up what a torsion field is, what a torus field is, and how it goes like this, you can see that we're broadcasting, like we're this crystalline structure that's broadcasting out these vibrations and frequencies. And so whenever a devil comes into that, they're just going to hit that and bounce off. Boom, boom, boom. And if your vibrational frequency is one of forgiveness and love and gratitude and peace and prosperity, if your vibrational frequency is like that, when the devil or that demon touches it, they could be transformed by it. And that vibration can go back to that person, whether you say something or not. Whether you say something or not. Sometimes silence is the best approach. Sometimes just a peaceful word and be like, yo, I can't get into all that with you. I'm sorry you feel that way right now, but you know, I'm working on me. I'm growing too. So we're all growing together. Remind them that we're all growing together. Or you might be like, yo, hell no, man, you ain't talking to me like that. Check yourself. But you don't let that poison come into you, even if you got to put somebody in check. You don't let that poison come into you. You don't be like, no, man, fuck you. And then, you know, and then you get out of your character, you get out of your center, you get out of your peace and that person. So now you both are like in this battle of devils, this battle of like demonic energy, or, you know, I like calling it that energy, because there's really no other word in the English language that describes how people act when jealousy, fear, hatred, envy, when all those things take over us. Humans, when we act, what are we acting like? We're not acting like God. We're not acting like Christ. We're not acting like Buddha. We're not acting like Krishna. We're acting like, you know, we're acting like the devils. And I'm not saying that that's what we are. I'm saying that we start acting and taking on the characters of that when we give into that temptation, when we fall into sin. What is sin? Well, Minister G. Simone has an acronym for sin. Sin, selfish, inconsiderate need. S-I-N. Selfish, inconsiderate need. That's sin. Sin actually means to cross somebody's boundary or cross the line. So when somebody sins against you, you don't sin back against them. Forgive them. I forgive you, man. Maybe you need to get yourself into a space where that doesn't happen to you again. Somebody keeps just like messing with you and keeps hurting you on purpose. You got to leave that situation. Somebody is just lying to you, manipulating you, deceiving you. You've got to leave that situation. It's another side of endarkenment. That's another side of wisdom. Okay, I was in this situation, it was hurting me, I needed to go over to here where I'm not hurt anymore. Or I need to go, this situation's hurt me over here, I need to go over here where it doesn't hurt anymore. I need to protect myself, I need to look out for myself, I need to love myself, I need to comfort myself, I need to forgive myself, I need to seek forgiveness from Creator. I got to get with my God. I can't get with that over there. Or that situation might be like, oh man, I really love this person and they're really hurting right now and it's trying to cause me to suffer. So your strength can come in, you know, let me forgive them first. Let me act in love, forgiveness, and thanks, right, Dr. Apollo? Yeah, so love, forgiveness, and thanks. You know, you give these things, you offer that up to people and you're like, yo, okay, here we go. This is how I'm going to treat you right now. And then can you open up maybe a wall comes down or maybe a healing takes place there, especially with somebody that we love. You really want to heal, be in wholeness with your relationships, but also know when to let certain relationships go when they're no longer healthy for us. Like you can only help somebody so much, but if they can't help themselves, if they can't get with God themselves, if they can't find that path themselves, and you're always the one doing it for them, but it's causing you to suffer. It's depleting your life force. It's depleting your energy. It's depleting your hope, your faith. You need to step out of that situation. If you can't transform the situation, you need to step away from it. Chuck D has a great line, and this is one just to leave you on to meditate. If I can't change the people around me, I change the people around me. If I can't change the people around me, I change the people around me. Say it 2 more times. If I can't change the people around me, I change the people around me. If I can't change the people around me, I change the people around me. Just meditate on that for a little bit. What does that mean? You know, it's obvious that it's a double meaning there, but what does that mean for you? If I can't change the people around me, I got to change the people around me. If I can't change the people around me, I got to change the people around me. You know, let me help them. Let me be like Kuan Yin. That's what Kuan Yin does. She waits until the people are ready. That's what Thoth did in the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. He waited until his people were ready. He stayed behind to help his people. Jesus could have ascended at any time. Jesus saw the light. He saw God. There was no reason for him to stay in Jerusalem and stay at the temple other than that he loved humanity and he had a message that he wanted to send to humanity. Who are you in all of this? What is the willingness that you're willing to sacrifice? Remember, Jesus eventually lost his life. Do you want to lose your life helping people who are suffering? Maybe that was something that we had to do. Maybe that's what Martin Luther King had to do. He lost his life as the Christ. The living example of the Christ. Martin Luther King lost his life for what he believed in. And we can't even debate, you know, what if he stayed here? What if he passed away of old age and was still alive even, you know? I mean, what if he's like 100 years old now, or, you know, whatever he would be? Or what if he just passed away 5 years ago and he lived a whole life and wrote more books and had more inspiration and shared more things? Like, you know, I can't say I'm not that kind of, you know, I don't have that kind of sight, but I have an imagination and I can just imagine that. So maybe in 2018, you don't have to sacrifice your life. Maybe you do. I don't know. That's really between you and the Creator. But what I do know is this, is that when people are coming up to you and they want to take you from out of your circle, take you from out of your peace, you don't have to shine, I'm in peace, I'm in love, I'm in this and that all the time. That's showing off. That's like spiritual. That's like spiritual shine. That's like spiritual bling, and you're just showing it off all the time. You're flossing with your spirituality. That's whack. I don't even know how you can be spiritual and do that. So the real key is to help people ease their suffering without taking their suffering on. That's the real key. So if you got a Gospel of Hip Hop, study Endarkenment and study Our God, the Great Event, Chapter 2 to get deeper into this. Once again, message from the Minister 7. Peace and much love to everybody. We out here, we're doing the work. Stay on top, stay focused on your goals, stay focused and ignore the haters. Focus and ignore the haters is faith. Focus and ignore the haters. That's faith. Tune into your God. Get in personal touch with your God. Start with your prayer and your meditation. You can't go wrong there. You can't go wrong with an intimate relationship with your Creator. There it is. Peace and much love.